Take a step, make a step, take a 1,000 reasons, take a step. First of all, I would like to pay homage to Triple Gem, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and Venerable Master, as well as greeting to all Dhamma friends who are now following our Dhamma talk. And today, all of us are very pleased to come together and discuss very important topics on Buddhism and social ethics. Last week, the Dhamma talk also holds similar topic, but the discussion was in Khmer. Today, the discussion is in English. So again, I am very pleased, and today we have our three Venerable Master who join us. So first of all, my respect to all the Venerable Master. So we have today three Venerable Master join us. First, Pico Nipo Tao Soktevi. He's the founder of the Dhammika Life Foundation in the United States. And second is the Pico Kasapak Hontamra. He's the executive director of the International Cambodian Buddhist Center in Sri Lanka. But right now, Venerable is in Phnom Penh, in Udon. And the third, Venerable Master Pico Dhammasena Haksing Hai. He's the executive director of the Buddhism for Education of Cambodia, BEC. So welcome, and as today our discussion on Buddhism and social ethics. And my role today, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Sophia. I'm the student for in the Buddhism in English class that taught by Venerable Master Soktivi. And today is my pleasure as well to moderate this session. It is my first time somehow to moderate a Dhamma talk. Normally, I'm familiar with this discussion in social work, but when it comes to Dhamma, it is my first time. So I would like to seek all of you the opportunity if any mistake may occur, and that personally I try to learn as well and try to understand the Buddha teaching, and we all are learning in the Buddhism in English class. So come to our topic. Somehow we have 1 hour discussion, so we will try to be sharp, straight to the point, and therefore, first of all, I would like to give the floor to Venerable Master Soktivi. Would you explain what is Buddhism? So may I invite Venerable Master.
My homage and veneration to the Triple Gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and my high respect to most Venerable Masters on camera and Venerable Master Haksing Hai, who lies from Battambang, and my greetings to moderator Sister Josephine, and greetings of friends of the universe who are watching this live show program in English version. Today we going to discuss about this specific topic of Buddhism and social ethics. As you may have already been familiar with the word Buddhism, which literally means the teaching of the Buddha, but too many Buddhist scholars, they regard Buddhism as a way of life or a lifestyle, which means when one undertakes according to the teachings of the Buddha, one will enjoy true peace and happiness, not just for the life after, but for the life in the present moment. So what is the teaching of Buddhism? So in Um, in short, the teaching of the Buddha mainly and significantly emphasizes on avoiding bad action, doing good, and purifying one's mind. Some basic the Buddha teachings concerning with the theory of law, the law of cause and effect, karma, the theory of dependent origination, Paticca the Four Noble Truths, and the Noble Eightfold Path. Noble Eightfold Path is very, very important teaching of Buddhism, which can finally lead one to full liberation and emancipation from the cycle of suffering. In short, it is summarized into into three trainings. First of all, sila, ethical conduct, samadhi, concentration, and panya, wisdom. So now we see that the teaching of the Buddha, or what we call as Buddhism, is mainly focusing on developing good quality, avoiding bad quality, and developing one's mind in order to live happily in society. It is so, therefore, very important that we all live a life according to moral code of conduct so that we achieve true happiness and peace. But to further understand about the Buddhist, as we will listen from the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Master. So may I turn to Venerable Master Thanra? Can you also connect what is Buddhism, but especially define the social aspect here?
Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. May my respect, may my homage to the Triple Gem and the Venerable Sirs, especially Venerable Moniputtu Soktivi, Venerable Dhammasena Hatsinghai, and other Venerable Sirs who are watching us online. And dear devotees and friends in Dhamma, especially Sister Jasupir, who is the moderator, and other technical teams who are really supportive to make this program happen. So the word ethics can be defined, from different contexts or from different domains. Different philosophers came up with different ideologies in terms of ethics. And there are many technical terms which are mostly related to the ethics, like regulation, rules, norms, or values, or you can say like compliance, or and so forth. So, but from my understanding, they are cultural based, they are subject matter based. It means that their foundation are we call it very subjective, because different cultures have their own definition or their own value towards the ethics. But what I'm trying to define is how Buddhism define the term ethics. So here I don't want to make an explicit distinction between morality or ethics or disciplinary codes and so on. So what we have to understand, even we use different terms to recognize the morality incorporated in Buddhism, but the main purpose is, from my understanding, ethics in Buddhism is about, I call it disciplinary codes for governing one's behavior physically and verbally. And ethics in Buddhism is the foundation for spiritual development. As Honorable Sokchibi mentioned, that there is a threefold training in Buddhism. One is morality, concentration, and wisdom. So from the aspect of Eightfold Path, it is understandable that the Sila is the foundation in order to reach the enlightenment. So let me recap. The ethics in Buddhism is the foundation, or or I can call it the policy system or disciplinary course system or governing oneself in order to strengthen oneself in order to reach enlightenment. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Venerable Master. And we have heard from Venerable Master Saktivi about Buddhism and the core value of the Buddha teaching based on the Sila, concentration, and wisdom. And Venerable Camera have also connect the dot here between the core foundation of the ethic here connect to the Buddhism. So may I turn to Venerable Master Sin Hai? Can you also share your thought about social ethics? Please, Venerable.
Thank you, moderator Joseph. And first of all, I would like to pay my great respect to the Tripojam and my respect to the two masters here, Venerable Sokyawi from USA and Gaspar from Udom. So it's great pleasure for me to be a speaker. Social ethic is very important for us. So I would like to divide this question into two, that is society and ethics. So I think firstly we have to understand what is society. So we now live in society. We are not individual, we are in the group of the people. So like a Cambodian society, what is ethics? So we heard from the two Venerable Master already. So I think social ethics is very important for us as we are Cambodian. Most important thing, we should know who we are. If we are Cambodian people, what should we behave? So I can say if we know who we are, we will understand what is our tradition and what is our culture. For example, if you are American, so you have to abide by and follow the tradition of American tradition, right? And if you are Khmer, we also follow and abide by the tradition of our Cambodian as well. Even we are not in Cambodia, especially for Cambodian people who are living abroad, even they live in foreign country, but they have to know their own identity. They have to understand who they are. So they also have to behave, well as a Cambodian citizen as well. So I can say social ethics is how we behave to our people around. And for example, as we are a son or a daughter, we have to behave to our parents well, and to the elder, to the monks, and to every people as a human being. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Venerable Master. And so now we have already heard from the Venerable Master explanation regarding the concept of Buddhism, ethics, and as well as social ethics, and how this connect to the Buddhism. But we will discuss further how the role of Buddhism play with the social ethic later. But before moving to that, I would just like to explore from the Venerable Master. Can you share us your thought based on your experience? I know that you have been very active and engaged with the society, try to disseminate the Buddha teaching, but in order to promote the social value in our society too, even the Venerable Master in the United States or in Sri Lanka. So, from your experience, do you see how is the social ethics nowadays? Is it going up or going down? Can you please share your thought, Venerable Master Sakti? Maybe start.
Thank you for the question. So what I'm going to talk right now is not just concerning with society of Cambodia, but human society and the world. As we see that today, world is very modernized, is very culturalized, is very developed, and some are very developing countries, some are developed countries. We see with the development of technology, advanced materiality in human society start to grow gradually. So also, based on the research of spiritual leaders around the globe, they have observed that while there is development of materiality, the spirituality should also be progressing. Otherwise, it would be imbalanced. And based on my experience, as I see, uh, you know, through various crimes happening in the world, like thieving, robbery, cheating, corruption, violence, killing, sexual abuse, human trafficking, drug, etc. These brutal acts of unwholesome deed are occurring each and every day in the world, but it doesn't mean that humans have totally lost their ethics. It doesn't mean so. But anyway, we can see that based on the research showed by some organization, we see the crimes have been increasing due to the misbehavior of human society. It could be based on personal activity, family activity, and societal activity that can lead to the destruction of human society. So, based on what I observe, I think we have so far been going down gradually. Why? Why is this so? If we observe it from the teaching of Buddhism, because of human greed, attachment, lustful desire are increasing each and every time. People keep wanting this, wanting that. So the desire increasing, the demand, the need also increasing. So people need to do more things, regardless of whatsoever, good or bad, in order to achieve what they want. And that's how social ethics is going down. And if the social ethic is going down, is decreasing, we can see that the result will lead to devastation of many kinds. We can see that the war can happen between one country to another, between one community to another, a lot of insecurity, inequality, injustice, starvation, poverty can also occur, and some natural disasters like the change of climate and weather, pollution, global warming, and human lifespan also become shorter and shorter due to the result of lacking of social ethics. I want to just quote some example from the dreams of the king Pasenati Kosala. He has dreamt about the 16 frightening dreams, and then he approached the Buddha and asked the Buddha for uh, exposing him how this dream would mean. So the Buddha said, "O king, do not worry, because those dreams were not meant for you. It's about the future of mankind." So there are 16 dreams, but I'm gonna raise just a few based on short time. So, for example, he dreamed about four oxes coming from four different directions, approaching each other in order to have a fight. But as they approach closer to each other, then they started to retreat. And this, the Buddha explained the dream. It means that in the future, the climate, the weather can change. When we see some dark cloud, normally we know that it's going to rain, but it does not rain. It just lightning, and then the rain doesn't come, which cause some destruction to the crops and farming, plantation, etc. So this is due to the injustice or unlawful way of life of people, or maybe due to the uh, you know unjust leadership that could cause some changes to the natural occurrence as well. And some one of the other dreams is about um, the female cow feed the milk from the newborn cow. This means that in the future of mankind, children do not care much about their parents. Therefore, parents will um, live depend on their children. Sometimes they have to work to serve their children in order to be served by their children. So we see that this is because of the lack of morality of the children in the future. There are some other example of this dream as well, which shows the case that human morality is going down in the future as time goes by from one generation to another. People may not care much about moral behavior in society because of the increasing of their lustful desire, attachment, and clinging to have this and that endlessly. So because of from this rooted attachment, unwholesome, evil, wicked mind, people tend to behave things carelessly, and they don't care about if it is right or wrong, but they will care most about whether they will get it or not. And this is why morality, social ethics is going down eventually. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Master. It's very insightful what you have said, and I have taken note of very key point, regarding your observation about the decline of the social ethic, not just in Cambodia, but from your observation in the world. And that have caused to crime, corruption, sexual abuse, or drug. But the impact from this unwholesome deed have led to either war, insecurity, inequality, and injustice that we may have witnessed across the world. And also, I like the point that you give the example of the 16 great dreams. I read that a lot, and I really take note how important when we all have to follow the right pathway to ensure a good society that we can live in with. So I would like to turn to Venerable Master Kendra as well. If you agree with what Wonderful Master Saktivi had said, or from your experience either in Sri Lanka or so far your interaction in the society and from your mental health experience, do you agree or disagree, or you have any specific observation, please, Wonderful Master?
Okay, sis, thank you for the question. And Honorable Sakti has been presenting very informative facts regarding the decline or downfall of the social ethics in a today's society. And as you said, yeah, I totally agree. Not because of the information insightful, but I mean from the scripture itself, Buddha said, and as Honorable Sakti said, in future, dear monks, there is a decline, there is a disaster occurring in the monk society as well as in the lay people society. So when we are talking the future of the Buddha's time, it must be our present situation. So from this perspective, everything is going down, everything is declining, and we are moving towards, we are gravitating towards the destruction of every aspect in our life. And this is firmly emphasized by the Buddha. So when I'm talking about the decline or destruction of society, I'm not talking about just only the ethical systems of the, or we can say the responsibility of the students, of the children towards the parents, towards the student. I'm talking about every aspect. To be honest, like human rights has been violated, and what we have to understand is, to be honest, we must be very open, and the social ethic is very broad topic to be elaborated. So let me say this: the problems, the diseases occurring in our today's society are the manifestation of the decline and downfall of the ethical system in our society. And it doesn't happen only in the Cambodia, but in Taiwan. And from my own experience, because I have been in Sri Lanka more than 20 years, I know that there is a decline and downfall in the society in terms of ethical system. But it has its own variation, like sometimes Cambodia more, sometimes Sri Lanka less, or sometimes United States more, sometimes China less. So there is a variation between amongst the nation around the globe, but overall there is a decline in terms of ethical system. So it is very obvious, as I told you, that the problems and the diseases in the world are the manifestation of the decline of the ethical system. So, and when we are talking about ethical system, it is everything, every aspect. It can be a political aspect, it can be educational aspect, it can be the businesses aspect. So it is for everything. So, and it is very obvious, bribery, corruption. I mean, when we are talking about corruption and bribery, it is not just within the political arena, but it is within the business arena, and it also within the educational system. So, but let me say this. So, I mean, it is obvious, and everyone knows this very well. We are moving towards the destruction. So, but let me say this: when the ethical systems are being violated, so what happened to us? That is every single of us has to understand that, because ethical systems I use it, manifestation of ourselves. When they are going down, it means our value are going down. So when our value are going down, what happen? We will be the same as the animal. So this is how the world will be in troublesome state and condition. So as human being, especially to be honest, as Buddhists, we have to understand our value. The great solution for the rehabilitation of the world is to upgrade our ethical system. So I don't go for further, in great detail because everything has been brought up by Venerable Sokti, but I totally agree with him, and it is obvious as you can see in the world right now. So, and the COVID-19, the pandemic, is the apparent example of a decline of ethical system in our society. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Venerable Master. That is very interesting dynamic what you have explained from the decline of the ethical system and the example. Lastly, you point out the COVID-19. Yeah, we have discussed a lot, and that is really an eye-opening example. So we have heard from two Venerable Master already. Now let us move away from United States or Sri Lanka now, come to Cambodia with Venerable Master Siêng Hai. So could you also share your perspective? How do you see the social ethic nowadays, probably in the Cambodian context? And probably we have seen recently that there's a lot of crime or like killing or suicide. So that you may have observed. And please, Venerable Master, share your observation with us.
Yeah, thank you. At first, I can say I totally agree with the two masters that just mentioned about earlier. Now we look at to our Cambodian society. Remarkably, recently, our king, Zahamani, has stated in his official page that the morality, the value among Cambodian society now upside down. It's declining. So, it's very sad story because the top of our person just mentioned in this way, not just only for the simple person that look at to the society and acknowledge it, but this is the top person, is our king. So the thing that we should worry. I can say now, Cambodian people, the youth, they really like materialism rather than value. I can take example. It's very clear that Cambodian people now, especially for the youth, they prefer drinking, everywhere. So it's a very bad thing. Actually, for drinking alcohol in public is not good for people. But in Cambodian society, we can see everywhere. We might say just for the old people or the mature people, but in our society, for almost for every age, even the young children can also, get the alcoholic drink from the shop or can even drink publicly as well. So I think it's a negative sign that Cambodian value, the social value of Cambodian people are now declining. So it's not the simple thing, Ethic is very great for any society, any nation. So if our youth or our people are, lacking all those morality, all those value, so we can assume that our society is upside down as well. So when we are strong, every one of us try to be strong, to be a educated one. To be a valuable person. So it will represent our society as well. I mean, the neighboring country or the outsider of Cambodian people will look at us in, in the positive things. But now, everywhere that we can see, I just as what I mentioned earlier, just one example about beer, about drinking alcohol. You know, sometimes we think it's a simple thing, but no, not real. It's so serious for our Cambodian society right now that can cause a lot of problem. You can see like a traffic accident, domestic violence, even commit something wrong seriously, killing, stealing someone's property, or even gambling. That's why we say the five precepts. The five precepts, first one, no killing, no stealing, no drink, no sexual misconduct, no telling lie, and the fifth, no drinking alcohol. The fifth one is, if we can, follow the fifth one, it will helpful for the first and the second and the third and the fourth. But if we break the fifth one, that is Sora Meraya, so the other four will also break. You can understand it, I think, because it's concerning with our mindset, with our mindfulness. So when you drink alcohol, what happened? You forget everything. You lost your control, right? So you can make anything harmful. That's why we now, on that way, especially for the youth and this thing that I worry, and I want to take this topic to discuss in general, especially among the youth as well. So it is the role of Cambodian monks that have to uphold our social morality, social ethics. So I have been working a lot on this field, and I think a little bit changed, and yeah, but we have to explain a lot to the Cambodian youth uh, people to understand what is the impact of lacking or decline of social value. Thank you.
Thank you, wonderful master. So we have heard from all the wonderful master regarding the observation in our society, not just in Cambodian context, but the world. And it seems like all three speakers agree that our social ethic now is in decline, and we will discuss soon if it is so, how we should address it. And from the Buddhist teaching, I just would like to take a note that because there's some comment that wondering if we can speak host this session in Khmer, because right now we speak in English. By the way, as I mentioned in the beginning, the discussion last week was conducted in Khmer. So right now, Dhammaka Live is hosting every Friday, but sometimes on Saturday, depending on speaker availability. Yet 1 week is in Khmer, and then the following week is in English, but on the same topic. So to those who wish to listen to the talk in Khmer, you may follow the record from last week. So I just want to point this out. And secondly, we will soon pick up the question from the audience. So if our Dhamma friends would like to have any specific question, please feel free to leave your question in our comment, and we will go through. Yes, so back to our discussion, Venerable Master. We have talked a lot about the problem, and we all kind of agree that our society now in a critical state because of the social ethic have been declining. So may I turn to Venerable Master Soktivi, if you can guide us, what are some roles that Buddhism can do to uphold the social ethic that we have been discussed earlier? Please, Venerable Master.
Thank you. I will try to make it short. So to save the space for the venerables, and also I can see a few questions have been commented already. So actually, Buddhism has so many teachings which basically uh, promote the social value, social ethics, to promote the living standard of harmlessness, non-violence, um, refraining from all evil actions, and to purify one's mind. If we are Buddhists, just specifically, I want to say to those who are Buddhists, if we are truly Buddhists, we should study the teaching of Buddhism in depth. The more you study the teaching of the Buddha, the more you start to know how important the Buddha's teaching is in relation with ethics and morality. And the more we study, the more we understand the value of the practice. And I see that so many students, when they come to study the Buddha's teaching more and more, either studying Sutta or Abhidhamma or Vipassana, their behavior started to change, increasingly greater and greater. So we can notice this from the study of Buddhism, and people practice that, undertake it on daily basis, and that promotes the social ethics. For example, the Buddha's teaching based on the first training rules, which is sila, ethical conduct, or morality or virtue. Say, for instance, the five precepts is so needed for society today. Even the Buddha did not expound the five precepts, but it doesn't mean that we should not practice it, or to practice it just because you are Buddhist, because it is the core value of life harmoniously in society. This is like a human right. This is like a uh, you know the moral code to live a happy life. So it is needed for everyone, not just for those who call themselves as Buddhists. If we truly just practice at least these five precepts, refraining from harming or killing living beings, abstaining from taking what is not given, cheating, corruption, refraining from committing adultery or unlawful sexual misconduct, refraining from telling lies or false speech, and avoiding from alcoholic drinks and using drugs. This will, provide a lot of peace and security to society if people do not break these five laws of code of conduct. And there are some many teachings which concern with how Buddhism can help to promote social ethics, like in the Sutta of Sikala Sutta or Singalovada Sutta. The Buddha expounded some important duties of parents to children, children to parents, leaders toward their subject, or the subject servants toward their leaders, monks toward lay disciples, and lay disciples toward the monks, teachers and students, wife and husband, etc. So in those teaching, the Buddha taught very important and interesting duties that one should perform, that one should do in order to be happy, in order to live uh, peacefully in this society. If one fails to perform all those duties, that means one does not take one's responsibility, and that can cause to the collapse and decline of moral value. And also the Buddha's teaching based on samadhi, concentration, panya, wisdom, promoting awareness and mindfulness of living. These all condition the better value of social ethics. Studying about the theory of karma, the cause and effect, also would promote one to try to do good and to avoid all bad deeds, because one afraid of bad result. One does not want to be harmed, and so one should do good. One should love others the way one loves themselves. This is like, when you reflect on the theory of karma, then you will started to practice accordingly, according to the teaching of the Buddha, and that's how Buddhism can promote the social ethics for humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Master. I think you have guided us, and that may also answer to one of our audience question: how to apply Buddhist principle in the current situation due to the decline of moral practice. Question by Chandy Tel. Yes. So now, may Venerable Master Kendra, can you share from your perspective as well how the Buddhism play a role to uphold our social ethics that we have discussed. Please.
Okay. Uh, Thank you, sister, for the question. So the pragmatic or practical application incorporated in Buddhism to uphold the social ethics is I mean is very important to discuss. But what I want you to understand, like not only Buddhists or other, it can be other religious practitioners. What you have to understand is all the problems happening in the world. It can be political tension, social issues, economic crisis, health issue, environmental issue, food issue, medicine, social injustice, crime, bribery, corruption, and so on, and or domestic violence or divorce. So all are the problems in a society. And as I mentioned earlier, problems in the society are the manifestation of decline of the social ethics. So from Buddhist perspective, the reason, first we have to find the reason, the reason behind having such social ethics decline because of the greediness in human mind. So in Andopama Sutta, Buddha emphasizes on having two eyes as human. So one eye is eyes of spirituality, and another eye is eyes of materialism. So when it comes to finding the solution of decline of social ethics, the most important is, as human, we have to balance these two. One thing is materiality, and another thing is spirituality. You must keep these two in balance. And the reason that we are gravitating towards the decline of ethics is because we have only one eye, the eyes of materiality. We are too attached, we are too greedy to the materialism. I'm talking not only in Cambodia. I'm talking everywhere, even in United States, even in China. People are, they are very greedy. So they are very attached to everything around them. They want more. It never ends. It's never enough for them. So when you cannot balance these two, the materiality and spirituality, the entire society, the entire human world will be in trouble. So in order to find a solution, Buddha give very great advice in Adhammika Sutta. Buddha said, when the entire humanity is corrupted, the earth, the moon, the sun will be erratic, will be chaotic. So the day, the night, the season, the weather, the climate will be erratic. Not only that, the rain will be erratic. So when the rain is erratic, you know what happened to your harvest, rice or any kinds of plantation. And finally, Buddha said, even the divine beings will be angry, and finally the human will have more diseases. So in contrast, Buddha also said, when the entire humanity is disciplined, okay, when the entire humanity is disciplined, the earth, the moon, the sun, the season, the day, the night will be wholesome, will be will be fine. So finally, the human will have less diseases. So from Buddhist point of view, the first thing you have to understand the real cause of decline of humanity. So simply, or every single problem we are having in society because of the human action. So this is, as I'm not talking only the Buddhists, I mean everyone have to understand everything, every issue, every problem, every calamity we are encountering, we are facing is not because something falling down from the sky, or it is not because of the God's decision, or it is not a God punishment. It is our own action. What goes around comes around. So this is, we have to understand. So from Buddhist perspective, the first point is you have to understand the real cause behind having the decline of ethical system and humanity is because of our own action. So when you have that right understanding, either you are Buddhist or Christian or Muslim, you will find a solution because you know your value, you know the value of your next generation. So your bad, your unwholesome deed will cause the problem not only to yourself but to the next generation and everyone around you. So when you have that right understanding, there is a cause and there is a solution, you will uphold the ethical system in society regardless nationality, ethnicity, and religion. So that is what I want to emphasize, and everyone to understand that we have a collective responsibility to uphold the ethical system in our society for the sake of next generation. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Master, may Venerable Master Singhai, can you also say from your experience, but also like probably not just the role of Buddhism, but as the disciple of the Buddha, as well as the lay people in the Buddha teaching. So what should we do to uphold the social ethics, please, Venerable Master? Venerable, may you unmute yourself?
Sorry. Thank you. I think I can say it is my great honor to be a monk in the right time. Why I say in the right time? Because now in Cambodian society, the social values are declining. Traditionally, Cambodian people still believe strongly in Buddhism. That means the potential, the potential or something like the mind still affect to the Cambodian society. So what we do is that play important role to Cambodian society. So I think when the monks speak to general people in Cambodia, they will listen mostly. So I think the society will be changed because of the monk. So what I'm doing right now, that I have founded one of Buddhist organization that is called Buddhism for Education at Cambodia. We work mainly on the program that we designed for the young generation, with the youth and with the children. We do what we can to uphold the society. You can see the young generation or the youth, they don't really like to listen to the sermon or the Dhamma talk in the temple, mostly. So as a monk, how we can teach them besides giving sermon in temple or in the ceremony. So if we just follow the traditional way to change the society, I think it's not possible. So we have to find out the way, the modernized way, or something that can attract the youth. So like BEC, my organization, we work closely with the state school, you know, or any educational institution to have a workshop, to engage with all those young generation, with youth. So we have the educational youth program, and one important thing right now that I'm also proud of myself, that I have a English teaching class that really is, how to say, that attract all the people to watch. And most important thing is, is mixed with drama in English, or like my literature. So like the food mix, the taste, every taste in one class. So yeah, I think many people that they feel happy with my teaching and with my philosophy, that I want to change the society, because I will know that now Cambodian society really need that. We need all of us to join and to uphold the upside on all those social value. I want to mention the importance of the social value, how important for our Cambodian society. I can take three main, aspects. When
You
we
can be
follow,
quick as well because of the time when we're master.
okay, sorry,
Like
sorry.
I try to be
So
brief.
okay, well, yeah, well, sure. So I think if we have the social ethic, it will help us, the fractured society. The first one, and the second one, to build the social capital. I think social capital now is, is declining, because people don't really trust each other. Don't really trust each other. Even amongst themselves, sometimes we don't trust each other. So how about the society? People really not trust each other. That we don't build the social capital. And it also, if we have the social value values, it will support the economic growth as well. It's take time to explain all these three aspects. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Venerable Master. Yes, because of the time constraint, we try to limit just 1 hour, but we can discuss a lot, and it has been very insightful sharing from all Venerable Master. Especially, it seemed like it still stick on the core value of the Buddha teaching, which is concentrated on the sila, concentration, and the wisdom. And if we walk on the pathway, it may help to uphold our society, social ethic. And I like the fact when Master Singhai just explained the way that we can be creative in a way to disseminate information. I have seen a lot of posts from the center. It's very peaceful, very natural, full of nature, and a lot of lay people come, and that is the way that you can engage with the people to understand the Dhamma as well. And
Teaching by doing.
thank you.
Teaching by.
So because of the time, may I invite speaker just give your last message. Be short if you have any last message to share with our listener right now. Probably start from Venerable Singhai because you have been just as way. So now please be short, and then Venerable Camera, and then Venerable Sokiving, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. What I want to say to the last, that is teaching by doing. So we now want to uphold this the fractured society, the decline of social value, but we have to look at ourselves as well. Sometimes we talk a lot about this and about that, about the problem, but we don't clean out our house, our place, to do something as a role model. That's why Buddhist monks have been practice the virtue to be a role model. And I think, for me personally, that as the moderator just mentioned, I have my own place, so I do something that I can illustrate to all those people, you know. So when we have, something that we can improve our society, so other people will follow as well. So teaching by doing is most important thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kenya, please.
So, according to the examples and the facts have been presented, the decline of the ethical, social ethics is obvious, is apparent. So everything, almost every aspect of our life has, has been fragmented. So, and even we are talking about the social responsibility, but to reach the responsibility, we need self-responsibility. So from Buddhist perspective, as Honorable Singhai said, you have to be one who can change the entire society. So the change must come from you. So don't wait and or complain that the entire society is corrupted or undisciplined. Look at yourself and let us start together. So the entire society is started from you. Only you can do that. Thank you very much. That's all from me.
Thank you, Honorable. Honorable Sokri, please.
Yeah, everyone has a responsibility to uphold the social ethics because everyone is the cause of the decreasing or increasing of social ethics. And to the citizens of the world, be abided by rules and laws of your country. Be a good citizen. And to Buddhists, at least practice the 5 precepts, and this will lead to the promotion of the social ethics, social harmony, and peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Been very insightful, and I have learned a lot. And I believe that all listeners right now also learn, and we all have our role as a wearable explain that to help to improve and uphold the social value and ethics in our society, but also in the world. So our Dhamma talk come to the end, but we have not yet lived yet because it's time as our practice is to invite Venerable Master Kangra to guide us for the Metta Bhavana. So please, Venerable.
Thank you, sister, for inviting me to lead the meditation session. It's time for us to relax our mind and our body. We have been very busy from the morning. Let us practice metta meditation or loving friendliness meditation. First of all, please find a very comfortable posture. You can sit on the chair, in the bed, wherever you are. Make yourself feel comfortable. Make a very comfortable posture. Let your body relax. Just relax your entire body. Relax your arms, relax your shoulders. Just relax. Please take very deep breath 3 times just to relax your body again and relax your mind. When it is done, let your breath flow as the way it is. Let it flow naturally. You are just the observer, merely observing your breath without reaction, without judgment. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep observing your breath while you are listening to my Metta Pali chanting. Ahang avero homi abhyapajo homi anigo homi Sukhi attanang pariharami. Now, please create a very tender smile on your face. You are a very happy person with smiling face. Keep smiling because you are going to bless yourself. Be mindful and aware of the phrases which I am going to recite. May I be well and happy. May I be free from anger. May I be free from hatred. May I be free from mental suffering. May I take care of myself happily. Let us expand our loving friendliness to everyone around us, our parents, our friends, our teachers, our colleagues, simply everyone around us. Visualize that they are very happy persons. Let us honestly bless them by mentally saying, may everyone around me be well and happy. May everyone around me be free from mental and physical sufferings. May everyone around me be free from anger. May all living beings be well and happy. May all living beings be well and happy. May all living beings be well and happy. Before opening your eyes, again take a very deep breath to relax yourself. Thank you for your kind cooperation. I'm seeking your apology for any shortcomings. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again.